How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. Today we got some pretty crazy stuff to talk about. We got some crazy news coming up today with the SSPX. It has been announced that they will be consecrating new bishops this year. We also have some crazy news with the files that recently came out. Um, Yeah, we got a big jam-packed stream today. But before it, of course, I want to go ahead and promote it real quick. So give me just 1 second. I'm gonna try to get it on Instagram to see if people can, tune in. Um, yeah, it's things are crazy right now, guys. Things are crazy. I can't really imagine, honestly, how things are gonna be in a couple months from now. It's hard to even tell. Anyway, let me just promote this, guys. Give me about 1 more minute. If you are watching this in the future, once this is all streamed, skip to minute 3, and that is when I will definitely start talking. All right. Um. Okay. Here we go. So again, just as a quick introduction, giving it about a minute until people join up. If people join up, yeah. We got a jam-packed schedule today. In regards to what we're going to talk about, the FSSP. The FSSPX, or otherwise known as the SSPX, recently announced that they do plan on consecrating future bishops. We're going to read the article from SSPX News to see what this whole thing is about. Now, I will say this is unfortunate. It is unfortunate news. I'm just going to go ahead and say my opinion on this first. I don't think it should happen. I don't think that the same logic applies in 1988, from 1988 to 2026. I don't think the same logic applies. The state of necessity, is a very common phrase. I don't think it applies. I'm going to get into why I think so. And again, I've actually grown more friendly towards the SSPX as of recent couple months just because I've done a little bit more reading into Archbishop Lefebvre, the SSPX as a whole, their mission, what they desire, what they want to clear up. And so I think I've definitely got a good view on the SSPX in terms of more friendly towards them than maybe other people, or maybe how I was compared to how I was before. I think a big part of that is the fact that I'm no longer part of the group of reform of the reform. I'm no longer, advocating for a reform of the reform, reform of the new mass, making it more traditional, making it more, um, making it more look, I guess, more like the Tridentine mass. I think I've now just kind of joined the party where I think, and this, I still accept the new mass, the ordinary form of the mass as a valid mass, and as a, of course, as a licit mass. Um, but I believe that the Tridentine mass should be the ordinary form of the mass. It should be the ordinary use, Roman use in parishes all around the world in the Roman Rite. Of course, keeping in touch with the Mozarabic Rite, the Dominican Rite, the Ambrosian Rite, all the other rites that kind of revolve around the Tridentine Mass. I think those should be preserved. I think just kind of going back to how things were before the 1960s, in terms of the liturgy. I know not everything was perfect, but I think that the main liturgy should be the Tridentine Mass. But anyway, kind of getting sidetracked. I guess the reason why I brought that up was because I did want to make that point that I am more friendly towards the SSPX now compared to other years. Now, let's go ahead and get into reading the the article that the SSPX put out on SSPX News. Let me just go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right. All right. So we read, the General House of the FSSPX announces future consecrations. And I believe this right here is Bishop Fillet. I could be wrong on that. I believe that is Bishop Fillet. Now, for those that do not know, the SSPX did do this back in 1988, where Archbishop Lefebvre did consecrate 4 bishops. 2 of those bishops have passed since. We have 2 remaining. But I do want to say that I don't think the same logic that might have existed back then still exists now. Nor am I saying that the 1988 consecrations were correct, or that they were the right decision. I'm not sure really what to think of that yet. I'm, still really making up my mind on that. But I think that, regardless, the same logic does not apply here. I really don't see how it does. Okay, so let's get into it. Press release date 2nd of February 2026. On 2nd February 2026, the Feast of the Purification of Blessed Virgin, the Reverend Father David Pagliarani, Superior General of the Priestly Society of St. Pius X, during the ceremony of the taking of the cassock, which he presided over at the International Seminary, not even going to try to pronounce that, publicly announced his decision to entrust the bishops of the society with the task of proceeding with new episcopal consecrations on the 1st of July next. Last August, he sought the favor of an audience with the Holy Father, making known his desire to present to the Holy Father in a filial manner the current situation of the FSSPX, not to be confused with the FSSP, 2 completely different groups. In the second letter, he explicitly expressed the particular need of the society to ensure the continuation of the ministry of its bishops, who have been traveling the world for nearly 40 years to respond to the many faithful attached to the tradition of the Church, desirous for the good of their souls, that the sacraments of holy orders and confirmation can be conferred. So I'm kind of thinking right now, I'm kind of stuttering a little bit. Just got off work, my apologies. I'm kind of thinking as I'm reading this right now, I really wonder how much thought was put so far just into this first paragraph. I'm really wondering how much thought was put into this decision. I highly doubt it was rushed. I highly doubt that it barely became an idea. I'm sure this has been an idea for years already, probably a decade, maybe more, longer than that. And so I'm very curious as to how long it took to really get to this conclusion. I think a lot of us would have loved to be in that sort of circle to figure out what exactly was talked about, what exactly was said. Now, of course, we can't be in that circle, but I think it's rather important that, we know how long it took to get to this decision. Anyway, just to continue. After having long matured his reflection and prayer, and having received from the Holy See in recent days a letter which does not in any way respond to our requests, Father Pagliarani, in harmony with the unanimous advice of his council, judges that the objective state of grave necessity in which souls find themselves required such a decision. The words he wrote on November 21st, 2024, for the 50th anniversary of the historic declaration of Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, are more than ever the reflection of his thoughts and intentions. It is only in the Catholic Church, as it has always been, and in her unchanging tradition, that we have the guarantee of possessing the truth, of being able to preach it, and of being able to serve her. So, again, so far we see that, it seems like the bishop, the Secretary General, isn't really rushing this decision. It seems to have been a decision that was long thought out. It does seem like they reached out to Rome. It doesn't seem like Rome really gave them an answer that they wanted. Now, whether if that's for better or worse, they didn't receive the answer that they wanted. So I guess the SSPX is kind of taking matters into their own hand in that case, because they do believe, it seems like they sincerely believe this is a grave necessity, for the salvation of souls. Now, the SSPX does serve thousands upon thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people. I think the SSPX does do uh, major work in countries where I think very needed, are very needed. I know for sure in Africa they do a lot of work. I mean, even in Europe, North America, they do a lot of work. Um, I think that Rome might have a plan on what to do with them, um, but I can't really tell where the direction is going. I mean, tomorrow Pope Leo can say, "Yeah, you guys are done." At this, and obviously they don't really seem like they care whether or not he says that. But I think Pope Leo has the ability to just straight up say, "You know what? Never attend an SSPX church. Do not attend it. They no longer have faculties from us." Things like that. But then again, I also believe that Pope Leo could also maybe do something that might surprise us. Maybe say, you know what, let's not do this. Let's give you some bishops. Which one do I think is more likely? I think the former. I mean, I think that it's probably more likely that Pope Leo will say, "You guys have no faculties." Would I want him to say that? No. If you ask me, I really hope that Pope Leo says, "You guys can get some bishops." I really hope he does that. Now, personally, myself, I'm not obviously part of the SSPX, but I'm not part of any of their ministries or anything like that. Never attended an SSPX chapel. But I do have some sympathy for them in some regard. Now, I wouldn't encourage anyone to attend SPX Chapel as of now. I wouldn't encourage it. I would encourage instead go to the FSSP, Institute of Christ the King, IBP, any of those that we know for a fact, unequivocally, that Rome is okay with them. Rome is okay with them, and they are, in a jurisdiction which is recognized by the Roman See. But again, I think that we just don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect. I really don't know. Again, I already said what I hope for, but I can't say that's going to happen. I really can't say. Now we're going to read a little bit more of this, but not too much. Oh, that should be it. So I'm just going to finish this out. This single goal is still ours today, just as it was 50 years ago. That is why, without any spirit of rebellion, bitterness, or resentment, we pursue our work of forming priests with the timeless magisterium as our guide. We are persuaded that we can render no greater service to the Holy Catholic Church, to the Sovereign Pontiff, and to posterity. Archbishop Lefebvre, declaration on November 21st, 1974. In the coming days, the Superior General will provide further explanations regarding the present situation and his decision. May the Virgin Mary bless us together with her divine Son. So I don't think that I don't think this is Bishop Fillet then, unless this is. No, it doesn't seem to be. No. So this came out directly from the SSPX News. Now I don't know if this is directly run by the priestly fraternity itself, but it does seem to be very important and very official. And I know other news outlets have covered this. Yeah, I mean they just did a pilgrimage in Rome. It's heartbreaking to see how fractured these things are. I really wish they weren't fractured. I really wish they were not. Um, all we can do is say a prayer and hope that this doesn't cause more division. I mean, I've been teaching my eighth graders recently because I'm an eighth grade theology teacher, and so I've been teaching them recently, about church history, about the importance of clinging on to Rome, the Roman See, the Apostolic See, the Petrine See. And I guess reading this really does surprise me. I knew that the time was coming that the SSPX was going to have to give an answer to this about whether or not they were going to give new bishops, whether or not they were going to come into communion with Rome. Now, when I say communion with Rome, I want to be careful because I don't know about those terms, partial communion, full communion. And I know they've been granted faculties. The whole thing for me is a mess. I wouldn't recommend anyone to go as of now, but I do believe that they have a spot in the church. I mean, I don't think that they're outside of the church. Now, I could be wrong, but let's look at some of their statistics. As of November 1st, 2025, members 1,482, bishops 2, priests, excluding bishops, it's 733 priests. I mean, 2 bishops and 700 plus priests. It's a lot of work. Seminarians 264, brothers 145, oblates 88, sisters 250. Average age of members is 47 years. Deceased members 99. Number of nationalities 50. I mean, 50 nationalities. It's crazy. Now, I believe this is priests. Yeah, 735. Seems like this was updated a little bit recently. Yeah, seminarians, oblates, I believe friars, or sisters, one of the two. Yeah, or brothers, yeah. I mean, we see, I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, they have a lot of people to serve. Now, this is just their clergy, their members, not just their clergy, but also their religious life, seminarians. But keep in mind, I mean, they have tons of faithful. I mean, they serve, I'm sure, thousands upon thousands of people. It's crazy. And again, I see the necessity that they might see through their lens, but I mean, I really wish there was a better way to solve this. I really do. I really wish there was. It's crazy. Let's take a look at some of let's see. The purpose of the society is the priesthood and everything related to it, and nothing but what concerns it, that is, as our Lord Jesus Christ intended it when he said, "Do this in remembrance of me." So evolution of the number of priests. France, 254, USA, 143, that's Germany, 51. I mean, look at that. I mean, Mexico, 14, Canada, 17. I mean, it's been growing. It has been growing. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see this because this is such a successful group, and you almost find it hard to say, you know what, this group is outside of the church. Because, I mean, look at the work that they're doing. I mean, and again, I am not recommending this towards anyone right now. The SSPX, they have their thing. They have their thing going on, sure. But, I mean, just take a look at this for a second. I mean, obviously traditional in liturgy, traditional in doctrine. I mean, they study St. Thomas. They have the tonsure. I mean, again, this looks like traditional Catholicism, and it is. But just in the state that they're in right now, it just doesn't seem to be something that I really, really take joy in. I think we've talked long enough about the SSPX, but I just want to say the SSPX, I am grateful for their work, but I do wish that Rome tomorrow just came out with a statement saying you are allowed to attend any SSPX church, or you are not allowed to attend any SSPX church. Just a clear statement. Now, that is what I thought before. I thought, we might get a clear statement pretty soon, might be able to get some clarity. But I think with this decision, I think it's either going to come out even quicker or take a longer time, a longer bit of time. Because, I mean, it could be the case that tomorrow Pope Leo says, you know what, I'm giving you guys bishops, or I'm not giving you guys bishops. And, I don't approve of you. Do not attend an SSPX, chapel, because this is a schismatic chapel. Or he can say, you're allowed to attend them. I'm going to give them bishops. We're going to reconcile. You're allowed to attend them. Again, I don't believe that the latter is going to happen. I don't believe so. And I have little hope for that. I would love it if that happened, but It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. I will say that. I mean, yeah. Take a little minute of silence. Let's just take a little minute of silence for this and offer a prayer during this minute for reconciliation. It's yeah. Okay. Anyway, um we're gonna move on to another topic. Um a topic that I think a topic that I think is very sensitive, and I hesitate to make any sort of comments on it. Um because of how disgusting I think this topic is. It's disgusting what I've read recently, what I've seen recently. The files. Um, in order to see the files library, you have to be 18 years old and up. Now, obviously, that's understandable. But let us remember, just like this, this post on X says, and kind of hints that it's ironic that you have to be 18 to read them, but the victims were not 18. Now, before I do talk about this, I do just want to say, let us say a Hail Mary together. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. A little prayer for the victims, for the accused, and for the monsters that did all this. I want to be careful with what I can talk about because I don't want to get this channel banned. But I just want to say this, and I want to keep this topic short. Let us just remember that justice will come. Justice will be served, if not in this world, then in the next. I will say something I've seen that's kind of disgusting. People have kind of started making jokes about this. I don't see the point in it. I think it's disgusting. I think it's horrible. I ask the Lord to bring justice, but to bring peace into these hearts. And even to those that we don't even know of, even to those that are not alive right now, that are dead because of this, that nobody knew where they ended up, that they went missing, that their whereabouts are unknown and remain unknown. Let us pray that God gives them peace in their heart. And let us pray for those that have passed away. This is proof that the devil exists. This is proof that morality is not subjective. It's not something that you can just. It's not something that you can just choose to follow. In terms of I have my morality, you have your morality. We'll just follow our own distinct compasses of morality. I mean, this is evidence that the devil is active in this world. He is the king of this world, unfortunately. He is the God of this world. And again, all of this that happened, all of this documentation, it's all of this documentation. I mean, it's existed before, unfortunately. And it's been happening for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It's terrible. And what I ask the Lord is to not let me see more of this. I hate opening my device, my socials, and seeing this. Like knowing about this, it's important to know about it because you have to be aware of the evil in this world and of how you can help others. But humans were not meant to know these things. Humans were not meant to see these things, unfortunately. But we ought to, because it is important that we, if we know anyone that is a victim or survivor of these sort of things, we should be there for them always, 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 always. Lord have mercy. That's about it in terms of that I want to talk about, because I don't think I really want to spend more time talking about this. Let us pray. Let us see the best way we can help people, not just in prayer but also in action. Help those that have survived such horrible atrocities, not even just in this, but in other forms of that, more local. Maybe they were assaulted. Maybe they were. I don't know. It is crazy. Let us learn to help them, to pray for them, to be there for them, to lend them a hand. Because the survivors of these atrocities, they need it. They need not only us, but they need God. They need the peace that He gives. They need our help, our aid. As human beings, we should be there for them. That's about it in terms of that. We know that there's much going on in the world right now. The SSPX, consecration. So there's a lot going on within the church and even outside of the church. But let us never forget that our most important weapon against the evil one is prayer. Now, what the evil one wants is division. He wants to lessen the severity of these atrocities. But let us remember that the evil one is afraid of our mother up here, the Blessed Virgin Mary. He's afraid of her. He's afraid of the Holy Family right up here. Holy Family. He's afraid of the Tridentine Mass. He's afraid of that. He's afraid of the Holy Rosary. He's afraid of the saints, of relics. He's afraid of the scriptures. Let us remember that we ought to never give up and never lose hope, because the Lord is always there for us, and we have a whole army of saints and angels there with us. Now, I just want to say I appreciate you guys tuning in. I want you guys, when you click off, to go to prayer directly. Go directly to prayer, because that is what this world needs. That is what this world needs. I love you guys. May the Lord be with you. May the Lord be with us. It's hard not to lose hope, but we ought not lose hope. Gloria Patris et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Signing off, guys. Love you guys. Take care.